I've had a request that I explain what I mean by restore a nation. When you restore something, whether that be a home, a car, or a piece of furniture, you're fixing what's wrong with it. You're not adding to it and you're not changing it, because the energy to rebuild a home or rebuild a car or rebuild a piece of furniture is a lot more, God forbid, if you're going to invent it from scratch. So these people that are out there talking about change, well, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about fixing what is broken and restoring what worked. An easy example of that is the GI Bill. The military claims to have something like that, but it's nothing like that. It's not what my grandfather had, and it's not what my dad had. The GI Bill was actually something that worked for returning veterans and helped them to give a leg up for defending our country. What we have going on in the VA and the for the military members now is more atrocious than it is beneficial. But moving right along, we as a culture have allowed for too long the nasties to have their run in America. I'm not talking about the super rich, because the ones I know want to make the world better. I'm talking about those want to haves or want to bees that will use all of their energy to make sure they get and you don't. I mean, we all know somebody like this, okay? And I'm not just talking about the White House. I'm talking about, we've known people who didn't matter if they were poor or rich, they wanted what you had and didn't care if they took it from you, okay? I mean, we're all in this together. As I travel, mostly across the United States and some other places in the world, I find that people want to have to be a little nice, fairly smooth, to expect life to be a little hard, but also to be rewarded for their efforts. We, the people, have allowed, since the 1950s, they, them, to take the glorious beacon on the hill, the grand place that everyone wanted to come to, and muddy it up. They have busted out the lights and broken the stairwell, but we can rebuild it. So the best views they have, they want for themselves, and to leave you with the muddy end of the stick. This is the whole time has been controlled by Democrats and Republicans. I'm going to go into that in other recordings, but I want to get back to explaining Restore a Nation. Every great composer first thought of, then hummed, then whistled a tune before it became a concert. Your thoughts, dreams, feelings, and aspirations are important to all of our tribe here in the United States, which is what we are. We are a tribe of people who walk on this planet together, and together we can take a path that supports everyone. After a harm or a disaster, all of us help everyone else. It's in our nature to do this. Okay? That's the way we do it as an American citizen. Imagine if a child could be born anywhere in the USA and no one felt necessary to judge it based on the race, creed, color, religion, sexual origin, or any other thing. Imagine if you yourself were given that same opportunity, that nobody had some predetermined notion because of what they perceived you to be. All the discrimination laws should be boiled down to one thing: don't discriminate. We can accomplish this and other admirable goals if we will quit trying to identify what makes us separate from those other people. So if you're under the impression that you're better or have more rights than somebody because of their race, creed, color, or religion, you're mental. Go get some help. We have a society that has sponsored that has set things up so that it's one group against another. We don't have a country currently like we did in the 50s and the 60s, where a community could feel fine just getting together and having a block party. We've been set adversarially against each other. Now, I'm not trying to tell you that the 50s or the 60s were the good old days. Those ranges of time had some serious problems. They had some serious problems with being able to make people feel safe. But there were some good things there that we can bring forward now, especially with the use of our technologies. Of course, we believe in recognition and competition, but competition in the sense of doing our best and that of elevating the whole. Someone who does the best deserves an individual adulation or let them share with the tribe to raise the whole. We don't hold or restrict anyone's efforts. We do not give preference to anyone or any purpose or any group. We do not give any group extra rights or extra preference because they have been slighted in the past. If someone is put down or pushed aside for any discriminatory reason, then it's our job as a government and as a country to stop it and then continue to offer that one person the same path forward that everybody else does. So as I go across the United States of America, I can talk to people all the way along the path, support those who wish to work for the best interest of all. But what I can say is that as a group, we can move together and we can create a synergy that creates a livable, wonderful growth environment for every person in our culture. So one of the things that's happened in the past is that almost every politician at every presidential race is talking about some version of change, and more change. At least that was the last four candidates ran on. Democrats and Republicans. What did they change really? Are you better off? Have your kids' futures been brightened and has society been enlightened by change? Most folks are talking about the 60s being the good old days. But are you right now better off than you were back? Are you better than your parents were back in the 60s? Do you feel like you have a safer society? Look, I'm not talking about fear. I'm talking about embracing a situation which we can solve together. Remember being able to lean on a fence and talk to your neighbor and watch the kids play in the park? What changes made that better? It's time to restore a nation. We can enjoy meeting with people and sharing concepts for the better. We don't have to argue because we're one party or another. How about no parties? Time to restore a nation. From the earliest part of civilization, we have known that getting around was important. Technology is created to get goods, services, and information to whomever it is as quickly as possible. It doesn't matter how faster you can get the order if the trucks, cars, and communication can't get there. Look, there are multiple things that need to be done. There are numerous campaign people out there on the campaign trail, especially in Iowa. They all have their pet issues. But what about the 12 things that have gone wrong since the 50s? All of these things needs to be fixed, not just one of them. And those ideas pertain to what we're going to be doing with the healthcare, our military, both active duty and veterans. How about education? How about infrastructure? How about jobs that are worth going to? How about environment? Well, here's one: diplomacy and world trade, entitlement programs, human rights, immigration, political reform, social inequity. When I say we need to restore our nation, we need to restore a lot of it. All of those things had working programs that have been bastardized and underfunded. Let's restore a nation. Let's restore what worked, use our modern technology and not be used by it. Let's set up something so that consumers, in other words, all of us, can feel like we're protected and not just like some cog in the money wheel of some major organization or corporation. We've got a lot to do. So please share this with everyone you know. Please go to my website, which is restoreanation.com. Sign up, be involved. Let me keep you informed. You matter to me. You specifically matter to me. Because if we can't hold together, we will fall apart. Time to restore a nation. Thank you.